Hello, everybody!
All right, Avery is helping us get started on area of composite figures. So we've already learned how to dissect shapes. So let's take a look at both dissecting them and solving for area. Okay, so what do you see when you look at this shape? I see a rectangle and a semicircle. Okay, so I'm going to start with my rectangle, and it helps me to use different colors. So I'm going to draw my little rectangle here. I know I have my rectangle, and then my other shape is my semicircle. Okay, so that means I have to find the area of two pieces. Okay, so I go ahead and draw my separate pictures, and then I'm going to find the area of each. So for a rectangle, I'm looking on my formula chart. It tells me that the area of a rectangle is base times height. So I always write the formula first, and then I'm going to plug in my numbers. So I have 8 is my base here, and 12 is my height here. Since we're multiplying, it doesn't matter which order they go. All right, 12 times 8, 2 times 8 is 16. 1 times 8 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So I have 96 for my rectangle. So I'm going to go ahead and write 96 in my rectangle. And then we have our semicircle, okay? So if it's a semicircle, is this a whole circle? No, it's only half of a circle. So I'm going to go ahead and include that. So the circle formula is A equals pi r squared. And then since it's half of a circle, I know I need to divide it by 2. So I'm including that in my formula now, okay? So I see that this piece is 8, and if it's a rectangle, that means that the other side of the rectangle is 8 feet as well, okay? But I see here in my formula that I need my radius. So the radius is half of my diameter. So my radius is 4. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in all my numbers. So 3.14 times 4 squared divided by 2. Okay. So now I need to rewrite it again because I need to square my 4. So guys, does 4 squared mean 4 times 2? No way, Jose. 4 squared is 4 times itself, 4 times 4. So 4 times 4 is 16, and I divide it by 2, okay? When I do that, looky here, 16 is divisible by 2, so 16 divided by 2 is 8. Since 8 is a whole number, it would be 8 over 1. It goes up top with my 3.14, so all I have to do now is multiply 3.14 times 8. 4 times 8 is 32. 8 plus 3 is 11. 3 times 8 is 24, plus 1 is 25. And there's 2 numbers to the right of the decimal, so 2 numbers to the right of the decimal. We are certainly not finished with that one. So the area of my semicircle is 25.12. So I'm going to write that in here. Now, when we're talking about composite figures, it wants the total area of the entire figure. Okay, so we're talking about total. That means we have to add something. So I'm going to add both of my pieces together. Now I have decimals, so I'm going to make sure that I line them up. So 96 plus 25.12. I'm lining them up. 2 plus 0 is 2. 1 plus 0 is 1. Oops, that's a 1. Sorry. 5 plus 6 is 11. 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 121.12 feet squared. Okay? Not too hard. All right? You just have to make sure that you find the area of each piece and then add them all together. So let's look at the next problem. So the next problem, I see 2 shapes as well. Okay, so I see a triangle up here on top, and then I see a semicircle. Now, I have some people that are like, but Miss, can't I do, isn't this 2 triangles? Well, the thing is, you want to do the smallest, or maybe you don't, I want to do the smallest number of calculations necessary because I don't want to do more work than I have to. So I am going to break it into the smallest number of pieces possible. So this, obviously, I don't know how to find the area of it all together, but I can find the area of it in 2 pieces. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do our triangle and our semicircle. So let's start with our triangle. So if I look at my formula chart for a triangle, it says area equals 1/2 base times height. Okay, so I'm going to do 1/2. Base of the triangle is 8 feet across, and then the height is always at a 90-degree angle. That's what this dashed line in the middle is for. So my height is 7 feet. Okay, a lot of times you're going to see that one of your dimensions is even. I can go ahead and take half of this number before I multiply, making it easier for myself, right? What's 8 divided by 2? Or what's half of 8? Half of 8 is 4. 4 times 7 is 28. So this here is 28. Now I'm going to do my semicircle. So again, a semicircle is half of a circle. So I'm going to write my equation. So pi r squared, look at my formula chart, and then I divide it by 2 because it's a semicircle. So dividing it by 2 takes it in half. So now I'm going to plug in my numbers. So I need my radius. So my radius here is 4. So 3.14 times 4 squared divided by 2. I'm going to write it again, and I'm going to do my 4 squared is 16 divided by 2. I can cancel, that gives me 8. And guess what? We just did that exact calculation on the last problem. So it was 25.12. So again, it wants the area of the entire composite figure. So I'm going to take this area and this area, and I'm going to add them together. So 25.12 plus 28.00, add them together. 0.12, 8 plus 5 is 13, 2, 4, 5. So we have 53.12 feet squared. So let's move on to the next one. So I already look here, and it's already showing me that there's a semicircle here on the end. And I see another one over here. Okay, so in the middle here is a rectangle. So I have a rectangle here in the middle. And then I see a side. Oh, I'm not going to do Christmas colors. I see a semicircle over here and a semicircle over here. So if I have 2 semicircles, what does that make? That makes a whole circle. So let's go ahead and do our calculations. So my rectangle, use my formula chart, A equals base times height. So I'm going to plug in base of 12 and height of 6. So go ahead and calculate that. So 12 times 6, some of us already know, should be 72. Now we're going to do our circle. So our circle, A equals pi r squared. So I want you to go ahead and hit pause and go ahead and do this problem on your own. Okay, so we should have gotten 100.26. So let's look at the next shape. So I want you to think about how many shapes you see. So I kind of see 3, but let's see. I see, because this dotted line, which is showing me height, kind of makes me think of 3. I see a triangle here, I see a trapezoid here, and then I see a semicircle. So I know no matter what, I'm going to have this semicircle. Okay, so I know that's a semicircle. And then what if I kept all of this as one shape up here? Look here. This here is a trapezoid. Okay, so this makes it easier. You only do one calculation than if you broke it apart here as a triangle. So I encourage you to find the smallest number of shapes in it. That's going to make it easier, okay? So with my semicircle, right, I'm using the formula for area of a circle. So area equals pi r squared, but we're cutting the circle in half, right, because it's a semicircle. And then if you write the formula for your trapezoid, you have area equals 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times height. Okay, so if I help you just fill in the numbers on this one. So we need our radius, right? Well, we don't have it. So if I draw this line down here, then this trapezoid is made up of 2 triangles with the same base length. So if this is 3 from here to here, then this has to be 3 from here to here. Okay? And then this here in the middle, well, it's a rectangle, right? So if this side of the rectangle is 4, then this side of the rectangle is 4 as well. Okay? So that means my whole diameter is 7. So if my diameter is 7, then what is my radius? My radius is half of my diameter. So radius is 3.5. Okay? So with this problem, I want you, just this problem, the numbers are really challenging if we do 3.14. So for this problem only, I want you to estimate pi as 3. Okay, so that will make it easier. So we're going to plug in 3 instead of pi. So 3 times 3.5 squared over 2. Okay, you're going to do that. I'm going to just help you fill in the measurements for your trapezoid as well. So 1/2 base 1. So it doesn't matter which order. If we add, it doesn't matter what order. So we have base 1 on top is 4 plus base 2. Okay, so base 2 is this whole amount at the bottom. So 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 plus 3 is 10 times our height. The height again is always going to be at a 90-degree angle. So height times height. So height of 5. Okay. So you go ahead and do your calculations. All right, so this one, I went ahead and multiplied 3 times 12.25, and then I divided by 2 because neither number was divisible by 2 easily. And I went out to 3 decimal places. I went ahead and added it, and then here I rounded to the nearest hundredth, okay? So please stop and ask questions if you need help, if you struggled on a calculation, okay? These last 2 you're going to go ahead and do on your own, but it's asking you for the shaded area. So when we're finding the shaded area, it's often easiest to look if we have multiple pieces and one we can take out. So here I see this big rectangle. So my big rectangle, I would do area equals base times height. And then I see this little square in here. So really I'm just going to take my little square out. So this one's different. We're not adding, we're subtracting. So I would do my big rectangle minus my